rising, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 o'clock a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We'll be there until 10 a.m. You can join us now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Today, your hosts are Razia Curtis and Andrea Hetherow. Enjoy.
Well, welcome everybody.
Good to be here.
Yep, and here we go. All good? Life good for all?
Yes, all good. No complaints.
And your mom, your mother-in-law?
She's doing fine. You know, I am presently out of town and I haven't been as in touch with her lately. So, but she's doing well.
Oh.
Thanks for asking. How sweet.
Oh, you're welcome. I thought that's where you went was to.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm thinking about my godmother. You're talking about my mother-in-law here. Yes, she's fine. Thank you.
Okay. In other words, everybody's fine. All is well.
Yeah, so many mothers. I love it. It's like mothers everywhere for me. Yay.
Yay. Yeah. Right. Yay. All right, Mama Evelyn, how's everything going in the art world? You have to turn your sound on.
Yeah, I don't want any background noises to interrupt, but yep, it's going fine. I'm I guess I'm comfortable working on more than one thing at a time. Well, you know, sort of simultaneously getting ready for Saturday. And I did post a flyer on the website, didn't I?
I don't know.
Okay. I thought I did.
On the Facebook?
Yeah, on the Facebook. Yeah. I think I did.
Okay. I haven't, if you did it yesterday, I haven't checked yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, just
life is just doing what it's doing, huh?
It's doing what it's doing. You know, this Virgo part of me has me, you know, I'm trying to keep it straight, but making a mess, but keeping, you know, looking at the mess to still try to create, looking at the mess, got to clean up the mess. So
I know, right?
Yeah.
Woo. Oh my goodness. Oh, the boss that I had when I first started working, I would sit right in front of him. He was behind me, his desk, and I was right in front of him, right? And he said, Sheila, all you do is take one stack of paper, move it over here, grab another stack of paper, put it right here, finish that one, move that over there, grab another stack of paper and move it over here. All I was doing is just shuffling paper everywhere, doing all of his projects, right? But yeah. Well, Razia, welcome.
Greetings.
Greetings.
You can take it from here.
Well, I'm glad to be here this morning, and I would like to just invite us to take a deep breath and look at what we have in front of us today. The glaring message today is that we need to be very aware of what the program is regarding our health, the health of people of color. We have one of our team members who will be speaking with us on the legacy, the work of Dr. Laila Africa.
Mm.
And so today we'll have a chance to really delve into the nature of nutrition and how we've all been affected by a use of nutritional science to affect our
Yes.
health and to direct us to a place that is not good.
Yes. Well
Um,
said, Razia. Mhm.
So we'd like to just delve into this today with our open minds and just thank God for Dr. Laila Africa, a
Yes.
great
Yes.
spirit that walked among us for many years.
Mhm.
So I'd like to present to you Deidre Porter, who will be able to take us into this space of awareness. And I'm just so appreciative of her to do this, because we often forget that bit of information that's right in front of our face. There are
Yes.
some things that we've all looked at and said, I wonder why is this? I wonder why we don't do this. Why are they just continually advertising this product, knowing that it has a lot of side effects, but yet we just kind of keep going. Here is a chance to look at some of the root causes of what is happening with this in our culture. So I don't know if we're on and ready to go and get started, but we hope that this will be an eye-opening and heartwarming experience for all
Thank
of
you,
us.
Razia. Yes. 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 Should I bring up the PowerPoint now?
You can. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, can everyone see Nutricide on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, I want to begin by stating a little disclaimer. A lot of what will be read today talks about Caucasians and Africans. But I want you to know that I'm not a person that really is out to slam Caucasians. I'm not. And so I will read some things that will state that. But I am a believer in white domination because it happens, it's real, it's part of our lives. A white supremacy, however you want to put it. But that comes across to me when I read or talk about this issue. So I want to just state that, it's not out of any kind of malice or anything for another people, but I'm really just stating what's our reality. If you want to say that, quote unquote reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I just want to say that first. Okay, so as you see on the screen, it says Nutricide, the nutritional destruction of the Black race. For me, when I read this book, or I've been reading it presently, for many years, I didn't realize, that it was a concerted effort to destruct, my people. I didn't realize this. But through this reading, I found out a little bit more. And so I want to share some of what I've found. Okay. Now, my personal background, for the longest time, for about maybe at least 10 to 15 years, I've been interested in becoming a naturopath, because I realized that, it's important that I understand what helps me nutritionally and how I should eat and that kind of thing. So I wanted to actually get some book knowledge about it too. So then in about 2007, I was introduced to Dr. Africa's work through a video that I watched. And from there, I really became more interested because he, kind of shares glaring things that make you pause. It made me pause anyway. It was to the point that I listened to his video, read his books, and I wanted to go in on his weekend training. He used to have a training. You can go to where he lived, to his home, and he would do a training with you on becoming a naturopath. And I thought, oh my God, this is great. However, we know how life can take over. I wasn't able to do it, but because, some other things happened. I was raising children and everything, my children young. But I still remember how interested I was to get involved with this. So that I was going to go and travel to go to his class, his training. So I want to just let you all know that's how much I really like this. I mean, I was really interested. Okay, now, let's see, going to the next screen. Okay, it says nutricide definition. Let's see, genocide. Because that's when you hear the word nutricide, sometimes you might think of genocide. So I put both of these definitions are listed. Genocide is the deliberate and systemic extermination of a national, racial, political, or cultural group. Nutricide is the use and application of nutrition science to achieve genocidal objectives. So this kind of ties it together. Did anyone want to say something?
No, I was just saying, wow.
I know, right? Okay, let me go to the next screen. Now, these are 6 books by Laila Africa. I have 2 of them, Nutricide and the Holistic Health Diagnosis, which is, oh my goodness, he put together that diagnosis book. I mean, it was filled with information to help you with anything, but it's a big book. It's really, really thick. So it goes over so many things about the human body. Are any of you familiar with any of the other books?
Well, I have African Holistic Health,
Oh, okay.
which
Okay.
is just a Bible. He also wrote a book on the Gullah people.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
And that's where I met him. I met him in the Gullah Islands when we were doing those retreats every year to study with our people there. And the other book I have is Nutricide, of course.
Yes.
And so those are my 3 main books. I think I have a 4th one. I couldn't find it.
Okay, yeah. Is there anyone else?
I have several of his books. And Howard, I studied with him and got his certification.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness. Awesome. Oh, that's great. Okay, well, thank you all for sharing. But I just thought it was wonderful that he has been writing about these things for so many years, and even as late as 2018, I'm saying, wow, he's really been trying to get the word out about how we should eat and different things. So I just want to share those. Okay. Oh, let me go back. Okay. I have the Nutricide book, and that's what we're going to go talk about a little bit today. And so in chapter 1, and it was 6 chapters, and chapter 1 is called Nutricide. And what I wanted to do is, I know you all can read, but sometimes, just hearing this could be helpful, just to get it going a little bit. All righty, it says, if a person, in parentheses, Caucasian, would send another, in parentheses, African, into bondage, in parentheses, slavery, he would, it appears to me, be bad enough to send him to hell if he could. Harriet Tubman. And that really kind of moved me because, well, of course, Harriet Tubman, she was living in that day when it was very pertinent, that people were getting killed. So that kind of moved me. Does anyone else have feelings about that statement?
Wow. Say it again.
Okay, you want me to read it again? Okay. If a person would send another into bondage, he would, it appears to me, be bad enough to send him to hell if he could. Harriet Tubman.
Of course, yeah. That was clear thinking in those days.
I know, right? Right? It sure was. Okay.
Well, when I looked at that statement, it really helped me to just recognize the depth of, I don't use the word evil very often, but that someone could be this uncaring, unloving, unappreciative of another human being.
Right. Yes.
Send them into bondage. And for, as you read different responses from those of our people who experienced slavery, many times they said, I'd rather be dead, than to continue this.
Exactly.
Before I be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave. You heard that. So basically, it means that it's a devastating situation. And if you're willing to put someone there, you're also able to kill someone.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, Sister Razia. All right. Now, in each chapter, I pulled out something that was significant, that I read. And I thought I would share, at least one little excerpt from each chapter. So in the Nutricide chapter, I wanted to share this one. The nutritional genocide of African people, which is called nutricide, is a reality that must be faced by Africans. Nutricide is the deliberate and systemic alteration of foods in order to cause physical and mental diseases, genetic mutations, and or death. When I read that, it really made me wonder, how can people be focused on taking out another people like that, and we see it, as we learn and grow. Well, let me speak for myself. As I learn and grow, I realize that a lot of things, especially in our food, is detrimental to our health, and so the more and more I learn, I'm I'm sorry, somebody just walked in. I'm very, just concerned about our people, and are we paying attention? Does anyone else have any comments?
Well, one of the things that I just like to share with you, I was sitting in a large auditorium, and the speaker was Dr. somebody, and she was talking about healthy lifestyle, healthy ways of eating.
Okay.
And she looked in the audience and she said, I see a few members of African descent here in our audience. And I just want to tell you, my heart goes out when I think of the dietary patterns.
Yeah.
Do you know that when you heat when you cook a substance at boiling temperature, frying to the point that it smokes,
Yeah.
when the heat is hot enough to smoke, that it turns carcinogenic.
Yeah.
And it hurts my heart when I think of the fact that that's a favorite way
Yes.
of African American cooking.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
it took me back to when I was a little girl. I was about 6 or 7, and my mother was getting me started on cooking, classes and how to do this and that. And she said, now you turn your heat on under your skillet with the oil in it. And when it starts smoking,
Yeah.
you drop your chicken in,
Right.
drop your potato in if you're doing fried potatoes. And I said, wow, that something that subtle is related to our high rate of cancer.
Yeah, that's right.
And there are other ways of preparing chicken or
That's
potatoes,
true.
but
Well, thank
that
you.
wasn't emphasized in
Right.
many of our communities.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's right, though.
Could I make a comment?
Yes,
Quick?
yes.
The word nutricide, when I think about our food, I think about the government, like when they give you the commodities and things, these are foods that at one point in my life as a child, I thought was cool, Spam, government peanut butter, that big box of cheese and all. And, as I've gotten older, I've been taught through the years by people like Mama Razia to read the labels of you.
Yes, yes, yes.
And what gets me is that you can grow stuff in your garden, or you can go to the places like Whole Foods or other health food stores and get foods that have less or no chemicals in them, and you spend a big price for them. But to get free food
Right.
or your neighborhood store, they got all kind. I mean, what is that? High fructose corn syrup.
Yep,
I'm
exactly.
the first ingredient, and people don't even acknowledge that. Now, practically everything you got that's got flavor in it, it has something called maltodextrin. What the heck is that? That's a new nutricide ingredient. I mean, the
Exactly.
point I'm making is that people who have not been schooled on how to eat healthy for their bodies, good health, they're being every day bombarded with this nutricide activity.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that, because
You're welcome.
it really inspires me, because we got a lot of work to do. It's a lot of us, but it's a lot of people need to know better ways to do things. And it's interesting because I thought about, this whole pandemic, and, people are being more conscious now of their health because they don't want to die. Don't nobody want to die. But they're realizing they have to think about this whole thing differently. A lot of them do, some of them still in the old school way of thinking, but I think they're coming around a little bit.
Yeah.
Is someone talking?
No, I was just gonna say it's hard to watch some friends of mine, well, a friend of mine, feed her grandson, fries from McDonald's.
Right.
I can count on one hand how many times I've given my grandson McDonald's.
Okay.
It's less than a couple of times, and anytime he bring, he's not a fast foodie type kid, because
Okay.
I just didn't do it,
Right.
Yeah, I just, to get to be this age and just realize the concerted effort
Yeah.
of people to just destroy you because of who you are.
Exactly, exactly. And thanks for sharing that. And it's interesting, even now, you see in news reports or whatever, how fast food is totally, I mean, it's totally horrible what they putting in that food in order to make a profit. I'm like, oh, yeah. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, chapter 2, health. And this is where it says the most difficult thing to get people to do is to accept the obvious.
Mm.
I don't know if people even see the obvious. I mean, things are right in their faces, but I don't know if it's just wanting to be blind to the fact that is there, or just ignoring it. But something I found out, even here with myself and changing a way I eat, is that it's a mental thing. It's like, oh my goodness, I've been doing this for this much time. It feels too weird to change. It's like, it's interesting, how in our minds, it has to start in our minds, I think, because we have our taste buds, true. But,
Yeah.
oh, someone want to share something?
No, I was agreeing.
Okay. All right. Now, the excerpt in chapter 2 I want to talk about is this, because like I said, I pulled things out that really kind of made me think another, take a pause. But it says, cooking food destroys the quality and quantity of life. Even that one sentence is like, woo, okay. Because I've been eating cooked food, for many years, over half the life expectancy is totally lost by cooking food. Ancient Africans consumed an over 90% raw food diet and were free of disease. Adults had the constant energy of a child, required less sleep, had no rotten teeth, heart trouble, sex organ diseases, mental illness, colds, childhood diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, and lived to be over 150 years of age. That's uncommon these days. I mean, every now and then they'll have it on the news, somebody lived to over 100, but Africans with high blood pressure believe they get disease from picking up paper all day. That is paperwork, administration jobs, while their enslaved ancestors on a mostly raw food diet did not get hypertension, high blood pressure, or stress from picking acres of cotton every day. The Caucasian's evolutionary ape-like cousin, the orangutan monkey, lives on a raw food diet and is free of disease and has a long lifespan. The orangutan's human cousin, the Caucasian, eats cooked food and is continuously diseased with a short lifespan. There is no safe cooked food, be it an apple or spinach. All cooked food is anti-melanin and anti-life. Added to cooked foods are drugs such as salt. It's interesting that, we can see, it's stated that that's a drug: salt, white sugar, cooking oil, or animal grease. Vinegar, alcohol, synthetic dyes, preservatives, and toxic spices that irritate the digestive tract. Cooked food perverts the taste buds and chemistry of the body. That was very profound to me, the whole this whole excerpt. Does anyone have any comments?
I would like to say that it's interesting that those are called drugs or chemicals because they were so accustomed to the taste of raw foods. They didn't need anything to enhance the flavors like we
Right.
in this modern lifestyle is, and we're paying for it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The more I cut sugar out of my diet, the more I'm able to eat things that have their natural flavors. Like every time I visit my sister and Mama Razia, I learned something new. And the last time I was visiting, she made watermelon slush. Nothing, and
Yes. Yeah.
with the seeds in it. There's nothing added to it. It tasted like some manna in liquid form. I mean, it was just
Yes.
so good. Almost every day I make me a watermelon slush now and drink it all
Wonderful.
by
Good for
myself.
you.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is that the more we get accustomed to learning how to eat and agree with the taste of and the meeting of our taste buds to the natural taste of foods, the healthier our body is because it's learning to adapt to what it was designed to do.
Yes, very much so. Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you. And Razia, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it was years ago when I was jolted into reality. You were saying something, this was earlier in the discussion about how we seem not to realize or we seem not to be thinking of what's going on. And I was at lunch at a restaurant, and here was this lady who was sitting kind of across from me, so I could not avoid seeing her. She had her place setting, and she had 3 or 4 bottles lined up right in front of her plate. And she just automatically knew that the food was going to cause her gas or
Wow.
pain. And she would eat and she would take this medication. That was her ritual. And I said, what is this?
Right.
If you know that the thing is going to make you sick, why would you eat it? But she would eat it, and then she had the pill to take.
Oh, wow.
And that really jolted me into starting to think of what I was doing or what others in my life were doing regarding eating the wrong foods.
Exactly.
The other thing I just like to say is that live foods have they have enzymes. Now the body has enzymes naturally, but not enough enzymes to cover all of the whole cooked food meal.
Right.
So that it's the fact that the Africans were eating all this raw food, they were preserving their natural enzymes.
Yes,
and able
you
to
for
handle
sharing
life.
that.
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, that's a great point. And thanks for sharing that recollection of an experience you had, because I can see that that would be something I wouldn't forget. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on, right? Is there anyone else? Okay. Now, chapter 3 is about children. Let us not forget that it is our duty to remedy any wrong that has already been done and not ourselves perpetuate the evil of race destruction. That was from Marcus Garvey. Okay, now this one was another article, another segment that I read. I was like, oh, because, I'm a mother of 2 boys, and when this talks about the birth of the children, and I realized that, I didn't want a shot, epidural shot, for pain and stuff. I'm saying this is natural. I should be able to do this without getting drugs. So I didn't get that, but listen to some of the things that he shared with us in this book. Caucasian medicine treats a child's birth as if it is a disease process. They interrupt birthing by giving the parents junk food that retards growth. They give the mother drugs that go directly into the baby's body. Drugs and Caucasian nutritional standards cause the African baby to try to breathe before being born. In this case, the baby may have a bowel movement and attempt to breathe, causing it to swallow amniotic fluid that can have its bowel movement in it. The baby has a bowel movement before birth due to shock and overstimulation in response to junk food and drugs. Drugs retard growth, slow down learning, and interrupt the baby's ability to bond with its mother. Drugs cause the baby's immune system to get exhausted, and junk foods deplete the immunity as they overstimulate the sympathetic nervous system. They activate serotonin out of its natural cyclic pattern and depress melatonin. Depress melatonin. When I read this, I was like, oh my goodness. I tried to be as natural as I could with giving birth to my children. But it's interesting, the little sad things that could be going on. But I was with a midwife and she didn't do too many extra things, thank goodness. So that helped me out. Does anyone have anything to share on this one?
When they started giving us, giving the children or babies immunization shots.
Yes.
And it was like 1, then 2, then years later, it was 30.
I know. Oh, horrible.
And my question was, they couldn't give my baby 30. They couldn't even give my baby 1.
Exactly. That's
so
right.
I'm very concerned how asleep or how trained our minds are, particularly among our own family group,
Right.
to receive these shots or allow their children to receive these shots without question or without fighting. And like the brother said years ago, the revolution would not be televised.
Right.
All of this is a part of the revolution. And I'm not quite sure myself personally. I have been on this track now for 50 years.
Yes.
And I don't see that much of a change. And I look at my own family and they know how I eat. They love to come to my house and eat.
Oh, good.
But they don't do it at their own house.
Right. Right. But thank you for sharing that, because it's interesting when I think about, especially vaccinations for my children. I remember I had to fight with their doctor every time she tried to give them, a shot or something. I'm like, no. And then it was back and forth arguing. I'm like, I don't, now that I think back on it, I'm like, why did I even take time to deal with that? But, but I had to go through it. But they didn't ever get vaccination. None of that. None of those things. So.
Well, Sister Deidre, I did not know the danger of vaccinations with my first 2 children, but even that, they were not given these vaccinations at birth. The children now, the babies are given vaccinations on their 2nd day of life. They're given a shot, and then they're given more shots. I think by the time a child is 18 months, may have had 16 or 17 shots already.
Right.
And I just never thought I would see the day that we would be this extreme. So my personal fight was I think my children had their first vaccinations at 3 or 4, my 2 older children. By the time my baby girl came along, I said, no vaccination for her.
Okay.
And we did not allow it. But we've had to, all through school, she was confronted. There were days when I was called to school and my baby girl was sitting in the office crying because the teacher had taken her out of class and
Okay.
they exposed her situation to the whole class. You're not
Oh my
vaccinated.
goodness.
You're dangerous to the rest
Oh
of the
my
students.
goodness.
And
Horrible.
so there's a lot of stuff going on in America. And it's similar to the COVID situation,
Right.
where many parents are being forced. When I talked to my daughter about the grandsons coming along, and I had gotten 2 doctors, a naturopath, to give information, and I mailed it to her and so forth. And she shared with me in their city, Atlanta,
Uh-huh.
there was a lot of forced compliance.
Oh,
There
wow.
were parents who had read Dr. Africa's works,
Okay.
and they were threatened jail time or children taken away and so forth. So it's very serious.
Oh, it is.
It's
It
a very
is.
serious situation that we're faced in this country.
Right. You know, because
Yeah.
even with me, you know, people are saying, oh, you're getting a shot and different things like that. And I was like, no. And then they were like, you know, but why? You know, and I told them it's been 30 years since I believed in not getting shots and vaccinations and stuff. So this is nothing new for me, you know. And so, you know, that's why when my children came along, I didn't do anything with them in regards to vaccination. So, you know, even today's time, you know, it's just a given for me. You just say no, you know, but it's not, it's because that's the way I chose to live, you know. And thank you for sharing, Mama Bay and Razia.
Mama, Hania has her hand up.
Oh yeah, please. Okay, go ahead.
First of all, I wanted to apologize for the when you asked did anybody have any questions, and I forgot about the raise the hand, so I didn't mean to just blurt right in.
Oh no, I think you are okay.
Well, I just wanted to add that when I was 17 years old, giving birth to my first child, I tell you, they gave me a spinal block. They gave me gas, and nobody even dared to think about that she needed all this because I was well prepared. I was riding my bicycle the day before I had to give birth because I was 17 years old, you know. But it's just amazing how they want to take over like they have the right answer when they are seemingly experimenting all through life, and one experiment causes another experiment till modern technology takes us in another realm where we're almost robots now, you know.
Exactly. I agree. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Mama Bay.
The damage to our psyche, to our minds, and our ability to think for ourselves is extensive. When we talk about helping our people and giving them information, there are a lot of blocks, cinder blocks, in front of that, their ability to receive it. When I went with my daughter to the doctor, take her children, and I've learned that quite a few of the doctors don't really think either.
Right, exactly.
They're following protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And so we asked the doctor questions about the shots. Not that I had to ask, but my daughter wanted to find out things. And the lady said, well, this shot right here, they won't need that one after they're 5 or something like that.
Okay.
So I still decided, my daughter said, well, they don't need it now. So
right.
So I'm just saying that she didn't really know. You could see in her eyes that she was just following, like I said before, the process, the protocols. So we have to, I don't know how we're going to help our people out of this dilemma, but we just have to keep on plugging away at it and bring the information.
There you go. We got to keep trying.
Yeah. And since a lot of our people are under the Christian persuasion, I use the Bible. I said the Bible says, know the truth and the truth will set you free.
Right.
And you're not free, so it must mean that you don't know the truth. So it says, study to show yourself approved before God. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So instead of just talking about how our people are being destroyed, get the knowledge to protect yourself from that, ultimate destruction.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Mama Evelyn here.
Okay.
Yeah, the evolution of my life from where I trusted the doctors completely when my daughter was young to, and she's 38 now. She'll be 38 this in the next couple of months.
Okay.
I believed in it. It wasn't that many shots, and it wasn't done till she was older.
Okay.
She and I actually did take the vaccination that they had, and then I didn't get the booster. I said, no, I'm not, no, because I was afraid.
Yeah.
But my grandson, no shots. No.
Okay.
And even his school, they respect your right to make the decision for your child.
Oh, good.
And they
Good.
did not punish for that because it's a private school. So they're not under the guise of
the state.
So she decided, nope, not giving him. And a lot of his classmates, he was exposed several times.
Okay. Okay.
His father's fiance, her 2 kids, because he was over there for the weekend. We had my daughter's roommates who live in the basement.
Misfeed Diaper Bank.
They had it. All of us have been exposed, but none of us have gotten it because I said, I'm just not going to, I'm going to do all I can. And for him, he hasn't had it. He
wow. Well, good.
He had classmates that had it, and he was like, either he wasn't in school before they found out the classmate had it, or he was sick already from something else, and then when we went back to school, he was past where it was. So we won't vaccinate him, and I just from going from really trusting the doctors to not trusting them at all.
Oh,
and now
I am so with you on that. I am. Oh my goodness.
I've been, diagnosed with, I do have my doctor now who's very busy. Obviously, I don't know if anybody knows Dr. Betts, but she's.
Oh yeah, that's my doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, but she's she's trying to, my sugar, they've got me worried about it, and so I'm going to, I don't know if anybody knows Neza.
Yes.
The chef. Yes. She's got a protocol because she has cured her diabetes, and her doctor is like not believing it.
Okay.
She is no longer considered a diabetic, and so I want to, and that's what I need. I need someone to help me realize what it is that is causing it and how to counteract it. Now, about the cooked foods, it's just better to eat mostly raw. I don't have a problem doing mostly raw. But I do like salmon and I do like chicken, but I do it with a huge amount of lettuce and other vegetables in a salad.
Yeah, whenever you cook though, it changes the Rosie, I might be saying it wrong, but it changes the nutrients in the food, so it causes it to be a carcinogen. So so whenever you put heat to something, it's going to change it. So whatever you eat, like fish or something, it's going to change the dynamic of what's good for you in the fish, so.
Well, I'll chime in here. When we are looking at the value of raw food, the value is that it's it's superior nutrition. If you eat green beans that are chopped small and marinated, they're going to have a different nutritional value to you than the cooked green beans. But the sister's question is very, very important in that the live enzymes that you get from the salad or from the fresh raw juice is going to do the body good. If you eat the salmon, you've got a nice dose of live enzymes and roughage to help you digest that dead food is how we refer to it.
Right.
So the fresh food brings the dead food back to life, or balance it out so that you're not so harmed. The most harmful meal is an all cooked meal. And many of us in our culture will eat food daily, 2-3 times a day, and might never touch a raw food, might not remember to eat fresh raw fruit, not eat a salad. I've gone to parties and I've seen the food is gone from the master table, but there's a big salad left.
Right.
So that folks were reaching for the salmon, for the bread, and so forth. One of my teachers said, if you are going to eat some meat, try to make it a smaller amount than you might have grown up on, and eat your vegetables, your salad, your even steamed vegetables have a value. But the salmon, the chicken, not to combine them with bread.
Right.
Mother Bracer used to say, I just hate that Dr. Sandwich. The man who taught people how to make a sandwich. She said that was terrible,
Right.
because they were combining a protein and starch
Right.
in the same bite. And that was a digestive challenge.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that, Sister Razia. Yes.
Well, what's the challenge for me as far as my grandson is concerned is because I'm tapped out of trying to figure out what to feed him that is nutritionally, because he used to eat all of his salad. Now he's kind of, but I have to really force him eat the salad, and he will eat it. Because sometimes, dinner is tuna on lettuce, it's a tuna, it's a salad with a lot of lettuce, and that's dinner. So you eat dinner, you eat. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, Sister Evelyn, I've actually become a fruitarian. I'm going to that. I'm slowly getting over to it. So you know what? If your grandson likes fruit, maybe he can actually eat that. If he likes a certain fruit, you can have that available for him. That'd be good. Okay, and you had your hand up? Yes.
You know what, my grandsons, I'm so sad that I don't get to see them these days, another story. But when I would visit them and stay the night and all that, I always make for them in the morning, instead of a sugary cereal thing, I cut up the Granny Smith apples.
Yes,
and I'd sprinkle cinnamon on it. So now we got something to deal with the blood sugar for these hyper children.
Right.
And then I put fresh lemon juice with the vitamin C in there, but also keep the apples pretty white, the inside, so they don't get.
That sounds good. I feel like getting one myself.
Girl, let me tell you, my children, my grandchildren who love them sugary sweet, they ended up eating and turning the cup up, drinking the juice from the cinnamon. The cinnamon has a naturally kind of sweet kind of flavor to it.
Yes, yes.
But my grandson who's 14 now, who used to turn up his nose to anything that was cooked or vegetable, he'd look at like, oh, Grandma, get that off of there. Now I have to fight him for the salad. I make a big bowl of salad. He loves it. So I think fruit like that, especially that Granny Smith apple, it kind of opens you up to be more readily acceptable.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me for sure.
Same here.
I have a question to, whoever. If in particular, Deetra, since you're going over to fruitarian, and they say that the vegetables do one thing and one builds up and one cleanses.
Exactly. Yes.
So how do you get if you're only on the fruit side, how do you get what the vegetables do?
Well, you know what? It's actually a percentage. You can do 60-40, like 60% fruit and 40% vegetables. So, if I'm not sick or anything, and I really know what my body's doing, I don't have to eat vegetables to do any type of thing, so I can just cleanse all the time, because eventually, this is going to be a little ways away, but I know this sounds crazy, but I want to be a breatharian, where I can breathe and get my nutrients from the sun and the air. And
so when are you moving? Because you in the city. I don't know how you're going to get it in the city with this mess.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I know you're not going to move to LA because that's really bad.
I know, right?
You have to live up in the mountains somewhere.
Yeah, right. So no, but to your question, it's a percentage. So you get a little bit of both. Okay, yes, the hand. Yes.
I was thinking that if it ever gets to a point that we're confined to our homes, that it may get to that. At some point, we need to start collecting plants to be in our home because our plants will help cleanse the air.
Yeah,
and
it gives you oxygen.
You know something? I don't know if anybody ever saw this movie, Limitless.
Yes.
With Bradley Cooper. That is one of my favorite movies, minus all the yucky violence that's in there. But that people don't believe it. But there is a point where whatever you need, it'll come to you what you need to do. And I believe that will happen when we're in the right environmental energy. But if we're under a state where we have to be in a house, I think plants for sure is something we need to have. Because, when you're pouring chemicals, they tell you don't pour it down the drain or don't pour it on the sidewalk, pour it in the grass. The grass filters it out, or the and stuff. So, there's just a lot that we have not been actively having to assimilate because we're so bombarded with things to survive in this system that it's on constant survival, with the things they've given us to survive with. But on the internet, there's a brother, I forget his name. He actually is a breatharian. He's a brother. And
really?
Yes. Okay. I have to find, because there was something I was reading. You know how the internet is so keen about sending you stuff that's likeness to what you can.
Right, yeah.
And this brother, he talks about how he take the coconut, and squeeze some lime juice in there. That's his water. He don't even drink water. He had been out drinking the contaminated water or whatever. But and he looks real healthy. He's real agile, not overweight, real muscular like, and he goes around telling people how they can do it because he's become a breatharian.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's
inspirational. I thought you were asking me what station, but I need to find it. I think I sent the link to myself at some point, but every now and then he'll come up. I just think it's amazing how people like him show examples that it can be done,
Yes, thank you. But as we you hear about, it's going to be a food shortage, some different things are happening. And I'm like, you know what? I don't, it's refreshing and freeing to know that I don't need it. I don't care if it's a shortage. I don't need it. So that's a good feeling to have, though.
I'm getting to that point because I'm realizing the more I reserve my rights to eat what I want to eat, the less meat I need. Because every time I eat chicken, which is less and less these days, I get so full of mucus. And I'm one who will get that stuff out of me. I do not let it stay around in the body,
Well,
but the point is,
good.
The point is, I notice when I eat that chicken, it happens.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Hania, can you put the name of that movie in the chat?
You mean with the brother, with the breatharian, or?
No, Limitless.
Oh, yes, with Bradley Cooper. Okay, let's see.
I think I saw that, but
I have the movie. If anybody ever want to borrow it or whatever, or some kind of way, but if it ever go out, I just think that movie showed some real details about how things can be. It's a little fictitious with some of the surroundings, but I believe that our brain has been designed to know everything we need to do.
I love that. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
Is that the
Nice to
one where
know.
he takes a pill or something?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
It gets kind of vicious, but what makes it vicious in there is the fact that the people want to sell it. You know, they want to
Exactly.
sell it instead of teaching people how to make it or use it in constructive ways if it came down to that. But I think that's where the vicious parts comes in when it's all about the money. When that comes in and buying and selling things that are not for our good, that's where we get real vicious in life here.
Mhm.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. All righty. Let's see. Let's see. Do you need to turn it over to just
9 o'clock?
I mean not YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Well, Facebook and YouTube, we are going to close out our social media part. You can join us for the rest of the time. We'll be here till 10 o'clock. If you go to elizabethvisionaryconference.org and then hit the button that says Zoom and get the link and come on in and join us. And then you just join us every day with that. We're here Monday through Friday. Thank you and peace out.
Bye-bye.